so-called astronaut Don Pettit mocking an audience during a presentation showing photos. He shows some astronauts supposedly in space and mentions how it looks like they never left the planet. And then he talks about how it looks like they have nothing but a fancy backdrop in the back. Complete mockery. These idiots in the audience can't tell they're being mocked. Complete joke. Take a look.
Pictures of all your crewmates and they look perfectly normal to you. But when a picture like this gets down on Earth, you get instructed to take a picture like this. And astronauts are really, really good at making pictures in space that look like you've never left the planet. In fact, it's almost hard-pressed to tell whether you're in space or not in this picture. You know, we've got some fancy backdrops, I guess.
And Don Pettit, again, mocking the viewers, talking to them like they're complete idiots, because he knows he's not really on the ISS during this presentation of Angry Birds and Pigs. You can clearly hear the jet engines in the background. They do these quick clips because these zero-G planes they use during these demonstrations, they only can last about 45 seconds. That's it. And also pointing out the occult, you can see the X behind him in this shirt. You see that triple X. The numerology, triple X, is 666. Just like triple X porn, just like Fox News, all about the occult with these deceivers. I'm going to play this demonstration video that he has, completely talking to the audience again, to the listeners like they're complete morons. Take a look.
I'm Don Pettit. I'm a NASA astronaut, and I'm on the International Space Station. We're currently about 240 nautical miles above the surface of Earth. Space Station is a serious place. We're doing serious research, scientific research and engineering research. We have a regenerative life support system, which is a fancy way of saying that we've got a toilet that you use and then a machine that goes chugga, 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 chug, and then you go to the galley and you make yourself a cup of coffee. And that's exactly what you are thinking it is. And this is the kind of engineering research that we're doing on Space Station. It's needed so that when we go to Mars, we won't run out of water. And of course, not only would you have angry birds if you ran out of water, you'd have angry human beings too. I want to do some physics demonstrations that involve some of the things you might see in the Angry Birds game. And of course, I've got my Angry Bird here, but we need a pig. Well, I'm not very good at art. It's a good thing I decided to be a scientist and an engineer instead of an artist, because I'd probably be starving by now. Okay, here is Pig. And of course, Pig is the arch enemy of Angry Bird. And Angry Bird had some eggs. And Pig stole the eggs. And don't ask me how I got the eggs on Space Station. I've got a bungee spread across the hatchway. And this bungee is kind of like a slingshot. And I'm going to show the trajectory that Redbird is going to have when I fire him with this orbital slingshot. Launching Redbird into space. Well, hey, we're already into space. Whoa, look at that. Whoa, all the way down. That's an example of a trajectory. It's a straight line from our perspective here. Gravity will attract an object if it's moving in a straight line, and it will no longer move in a straight line. It gets bent and it goes in a curved trajectory. And guess what? Astronauts have to worry about these things, because if you're in a rocket and say you're trying to get from one orbit and rendezvous a space station, you end up going in curved trajectories And you need to know how to fire your rocket engines so that you can go from where you are to where you want to be. And if you understand the math, if you understand the physics, it will allow you to go out and get a neat job. A job sort of like mine, where you're an astronaut and you can fly in space. Learn about these subjects in school. You can also learn about these subjects while you're playing games. What happens when something like an angry bird gets their eggs stolen by pig? This is all that's left of pig after pig got exploded. And we got to see all of this in a weightless environment, which is what the Angry Bird space game is going to be like, with gravity fields from planetary bodies.
Now let's take a look at this article on NASA's official website by Don Pettit. This guy should be titled Head of Mockery with NASA. Give me a break. This guy is a complete joke. Let's take a look at the very bottom of this article with a reference to the flat Earth. Go to the very bottom. A bunch of gibberish, a bunch of non-stop garbage, a bunch of equations that do not add up. Now, at the very bottom here, the very last part, the most important, he says, the need for new places to live and resources to use will eventually beckon humanity off this planet. Having access to space removes the lid from the Petri dish of Earth. And we all know what eventually happens if the lid is not removed. And of course, with the Petri dish, as you can see here, basically the flat Earth with the dome model. Same thing, again, Head of Mockery, Donald Pettit of NASA.
It's the edge of the world in all of Western civilization. The sun may rise in the east, at least it's settled in a final location. It's understood that Hollywood sells Californication.